Hello again. Welcome back to your 5-minute devotional stop with me, Amy Phillips. I'm on a journey moving from fear to faith, and I hope you'll join me for Just Believe. Hello, dear friends. So I want to jump in to Luke 21:34. Jesus tells us to be careful, or your hearts will be weighed down with dissipation, drunkenness, and the anxieties of life, and that day will close on you suddenly like a trap. So in this verse, Jesus is talking about the end times, but I wanted to focus on one little part of his warning to us. He says, be careful, or your hearts will be weighed down with the anxieties of life. And yes, of course, drunkenness and dissipation can also weigh you down. But I wanted to let us hear Jesus himself warning us, be careful. There are anxieties that can weigh your heart down so much that you could even miss when he comes again. And one of those things is anxiety over things happening in our lives. So this takes me back to Philippians 4, 6, and 7 that I've explored before, and I'm in a season again of needing it as deeply as ever. In this verse, Paul doesn't just lightly suggest that we should not be anxious, but he commands us to not be anxious. It says, do not be anxious in anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. So another translation says, in nothing be anxious. In nothing be anxious kind of hits differently than do not be anxious about anything, doesn't it? In nothing, in no thing be anxious. Not just don't be anxious. Oh, okay, how do I do that? But in nothing. No circumstance, no disease, no relationship, no lack of money, no trauma. In no thing be anxious. John Keith Mackenzie, he said of Philippians 4, just think of having his wonderful peace guarding one's hearts and one's thoughts all day long. But it is only on condition that we fulfill the 6th verse, in nothing be anxious. This is a distinct command, and if we fail to fulfill it, we shall not get the blessing. Whoa. So it's in the act of not being anxious that we receive the peace. Or maybe I should say it's in the act of trusting the Father about whatever is happening that allows the peace to land. It's all about trusting him. That is choosing to not be anxious. And in that trust, his peace envelops us. I have a couple friends right now who are exuding this in nothing be anxious. One is focused on her healing after a health diagnosis, and she said to me the other day, I'm laser focused on staying in the secret place. It's where I gain my strength to walk this healing path he's got me on. So what's the secret place? A secret place for her and Jesus. It's the place where she meets with Jesus, the place where she trusts the Father, the place where she brings all her anxieties to the throne room of heaven and leaves them there. This place is where she's gaining the strength to walk out her healing journey. And when she said that to me, I knew she wasn't just talking about a daily quiet time. Because yes, we need those, because in those we create habits in our lives to stop and be still before the Lord. But she meant an ongoing, moment-to-moment, secret place where we reach out for what's outside of our little lives and take hold of the Father who created all things, including the whole of the universe and us, and we learn to trust him. It's in that place that anxiety fades away and peace rushes in like the ocean tide. Charles Brent wrote in the 1800s, a man must not stop listening any more than praying when he rises from his knees. No one questions the need of times of formal address to God, but few admit in any practical way the need of quiet waiting upon God, gazing into his face, feeling for his hand, listening for his voice. Indeed, it would seem as though the deepest truths came only in moments of profound devotional silence and contemplation. I love those phrases of what we're doing when we practice a life of the secret place, We quietly wait upon him, gazing into his face, feeling for his hand, listening for his voice. To trust him, we have to know him. To trust him, we have to be with him. To trust him, when the waves come and the storm hits, we have to have spent that time in the secret place over and over again, reaching out for him. So as you embark on your days and anxieties come, because they will, remember that Jesus told us to be careful, to not get weighed down by them. Take a moment to get still before the Father. Ask that question, why is this making me anxious? Ask and wait, is there something deeper at work here in my heart? Allow him room to speak to you, then hand over the anxiety and all that's connected to it. Unburden yourself of that weight. And then receive with heart open wide the peace that passes all understanding, flooding your life. Jesus is our greatest cheerleader, cheering us on. He knew we'd be weighed down, and he also knew that in trust, we would receive that gift of peace. So find your secret place all day long. Maybe it's while you do dishes or take a walk or in your bathroom as you get ready. As you wait on him, gaze into his face, feel for his hand, and listen for his voice. He is trustworthy. Lay down your anxieties and receive peace. Do not fear, friends. Just believe. Thanks for joining me today. I hope you feel encouraged and strengthened. If you want to connect with me, you can find me at amybphillips.com. See you next time.